guys, welcome to my today's live where we are going to be talking about why people are leaving the UK in numbers. Not only are ordinary people leaving the United Kingdom, but let me know if you can hear me. I feel like my voice is quite low. Good afternoon. Let me know if you can hear me. I feel like my voice is quite low. I've got flu. So we're going to be talking about why people are leaving the UK, because people are leaving in numbers. Not only are they living in numbers, just a few days ago, even yesterday, even today, it has been all over the UK news that millionaires like the UK millionaires are actually leaving the United Kingdom. It is expected that 9,500 millionaires are going to be leaving, or they are anticipating that they are going to be leaving the United Kingdom in 2024. And last year, half of that number, they actually left the United Kingdom. Not only that, if you are looking at last year, the Brits themselves, more than 500,000 people left the United Kingdom. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing with you some of the reasons, or I'll be sharing with you some of the reasons why people are now opting to pack their bags and leave the United Kingdom. I don't know whether the reasons are valid or they're not valid, but you're going to let me know whether you think the reasons for leaving the UK are valid. So first of all, I'll talk about the millionaires leaving the United Kingdom and why they say they're leaving the United Kingdom. I did jot down a few things. So I'll be looking down so that I read some of the things that I jotted down, because today my brain is quite foggy, so I can't keep a lot of things in the brain. So like I've already said, guys, you know that Brexit happened like a few years ago. And from 2017 to 2023, 16,500 millionaires actually left the United Kingdom. And the number one reason why they left is because, one, the economy is no longer as good to invest here in the United Kingdom. Secondly, if you look at the UK in the past 10 years, they've literally had how many prime ministers? About 5 prime ministers, with one of them lasting literally 45 days. And when that prime minister came in, actually, that's when the pound fell dramatically against the US dollar, to the point where the Bank of England had to intervene so that they resolve that issue. But the main issue, which is now sending people away, sending millionaires, because it's very vital that the UK actually has millionaires here in UK. I'll start by talking about the millionaires, then I'll talk of people in general, like me, like other nurses, like other accountants, like other British people, and so forth and so on, because we are ordinary people. I'm not yet a millionaire. I'll be a millionaire one day, but not at the present moment. So I'm not yet a millionaire. So what's happening is, guys, you know that they're going to be voting in July. And so far, there's this other party where Keir Starmer, the Labour Party, which is currently leading Rishi Sunak's Conservatives by 20% in opinion polls. So what this party has actually said is they now want, there are two things. I'll just open this next page. There are two things which they want to do for the likes of millionaires. In case you didn't know, the Prime Minister of UK, Rishi Sunak, as well as his wife, they've got a net worth of 635 million pounds. 635 million pounds. So they say they want to remove 20% tax break from private schools to fund new teacher in the state sector. Then they also want to close the remaining loopholes that allow so-called non-dom residents to protect some of their foreign earning from tax and raise more money from private firms. So if you're looking at people like Rishi Sunak's wife, who actually has funds which actually come from outside the UK, and for the longest time, people who receive funds from outside the UK, those funds are not taxed, and those who actually send their children to private schools, those funds, what they are not taxed, they're not taxed at all. So the party, we don't know whether it's going to come in, but so far it is the one which is leading. Just in case it comes in, they are going to make sure that all that income which comes from outside the UK is actually taxed. So now people are migrating. They are migrating to countries like countries in the United Arab Emirates, because you know that in the United Arab Emirates they actually don't pay tax, and there is this so-called golden visa. And you know that in UAE people, they live a luxurious life. So most of the millionaires are leaving the United Kingdom because they don't want to be taxed. No one wants to be taxed from their hard-earned cash. So you know that if they leave, because they inject money into the government, obviously the healthcare sector is going to suffer, and many industries are going to suffer. And some millionaires, when they leave the UK, they also leave with their businesses and everything, meaning that a lot of people are also going to become what? Jobless. But now let us talk of people like me and you and other nurses and other doctors and other. Why are they leaving the United Kingdom? And is it really a valid reason to leave the United Kingdom? Why I'm saying so, guys, is because, you know, like we've got so many different groups, WhatsApp groups, and there's particularly a WhatsApp group for people who are actually here in the UK, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, all of them preparing to go to New Zealand, all of them preparing to go to either New Zealand or Australia. And where I am working, a lot of people have left to go to Australia, and I'll give you some of the reasons why. And before I give you some of the reasons, let me just greet you and say good afternoon. Afternoon, Tembi. Afternoon, Bongai, Tendai Bondi, Bianca, Fungai Ngube, Tariro. Good afternoon, Tariro. I saw your message coming in on WhatsApp. I'll respond after the live. Afternoon, Albert. So, guys, the number one thing that I'm going to look at is the infrastructure here in the UK in terms of the houses. I'm sure you have seen so many videos from YouTubers and so forth. They come to you and say, "Oh, I bought a house in the UK." It's very rare that anyone buys a house in the UK. Most of the people come and say, "I've bought a house in the UK." They would have secured a mortgage here in the UK. And now it is increasingly difficult to secure a mortgage here in the UK, because they'll tell you that they want maybe 10 to 15%. And if you're looking at 10 to 15%, the cheapest of the good houses that you can actually get here in the UK, they are ranging around from 200,000 and above. That is in Northern Ireland, because in other, in other countries like England, it's more expensive than in Northern Ireland. And if they want 15% of whatever, you're looking at a good £20,000. Who can save £20,000 in 1 year, or £15,000 within that 1 year? Like this year, are we able to save 15,000 to £20,000 from our salaries? It's very, very difficult to actually save any money. Why? Because one, the cost of living has become so bad in the UK. Things have become so expensive. Like, things are really expensive. From the time that I came here, which was 6 years ago, to date, things have actually tripled in price. Some of them, they've went up to 4 times the price. I will prove that to you when I do a video, because I'm going to go and do a video where I do grocery shopping, because you know that I've previously done a video where I was doing grocery shopping, and I was showing you the prices of things here within the UK. I think I've done about 3 or 4 videos, and the very first video that I did it with Danielle, which was like some 4 years ago. So I'll compare the very same things that I was buying 4 years ago and how much they are costing to date, so that you see that things have really skyrocketed, right? So now it's very difficult to secure a house here in the UK. Not only is it difficult, if you're looking at the houses that are here in UK, people are literally living in matchboxes. I remember just a few weeks ago, Troy's father, like my children's father, was actually here in UK, and he recently relocated to Australia. So he was speaking to me, telling me that, why don't you come to Australia and so forth? And I was asking, okay, if you want me to come to Australia, what are the benefits of being in Australia there compared to UK? So I'm talking to someone who has been in UK and has actually relocated to Australia. So I'm saying, why would you say I should come to Australia? What are the benefits there? And I say, okay, tell me of the salary. How much are you getting, like per fortnight? Because they get paid per fortnight. How much are you earning per fortnight? And then he told me the amount of money that he gets per fortnight. And then I said, but if you calculate that twice as much, that is exactly what I'm getting when I'm working here in a care home in UK. And then he said, but if you look at the houses that are in UK, one, the houses that are in UK, they are very small compared to the houses that you get here in Australia. Secondly, before I go to work-life balance, I'll talk of the first issue of the houses being small. See where I'm staying, guys. I stay in a three-bedroom house, and it is called a terraced house. So what it means is the houses is like a long line. About in the street that I'm living, there are about 15 houses, and they are all attached. See, I used to shout at my son because I'll just walk into his room and he actually has earphones with very loud. Just walking into the door, you'll be having earphones on loudspeaker. So these past 3 weeks, guys, I've been off. Like, I've been trying to recuperate because I've not been well for some time. So I'm literally off for, this is now the third week. I've been off doing absolutely nothing but resting. And I was disappointed because most of the time I work night shift, right? And when I work night shift, I'm very lazy to come and go upstairs and sleep and stuff like that. I just come here. Even when I'm downstairs during the day, I just, prepare my couch and sleep here downstairs. I don't go up. Most of the time, that's what I do. Even when I'm off, I don't even bother myself going upstairs to my bedroom to sleep. But these past 2 weeks, I was like, you know what? Let me allow my body to, get good rest, sleep in my bed and everything. Guys, I was so disappointed because when I'm sleeping in my bedroom, Troy's bedroom, is actually, they are attached to my neighbor's bedroom. And my neighbors, when they are having jiki jiki at night, they are screaming. They are mourning at the top of their voices. You can hear each and everything which is happening there, whether he is smashing her, whether he is slapping her, whether you can hear, whether the balls are smashing her, you can actually hear it from my bedroom. So this is what my son has been experiencing because of how small the houses are. You can actually hear through the holes. That's why he always has earphones on. And then I said, I cannot, this is ridiculous. I cannot sleep when people are literally screaming, guys, like screaming at the top of their, both men and women screaming. I'm like, let me what? Let me go and sleep in my daughter's room. Maybe I might not what hear this ridiculous noise, right? I go and sleep in my daughter's room because my daughter is downstairs, still on their PS5 and whatnot. The same thing, my neighbors from the other side, it's a young couple as well. 2 hours into my sleep, I start hearing the girl. Now the woman is moaning. Now the bed is hitting against my wall and everything. So it's really ridiculous. Like, it's because the houses, if you live in a terraced house, it's really terrible. So that's how small the houses are here in UK. And in case you don't want a terraced house, it's really expensive because if you're looking at these terraced houses that we live in, they are literally around 200 and something thousand. So if you want a house maybe which is not a terrace like this one, you have to pay something like 300,000 pounds and above for you to get like a good three-bedroom house. It's around 300,000, 400,000 pounds, which is not affordable. Because if they're saying 400,000 pounds, they will tell me I want 20%. They will tell me I want something like 40,000 pounds as deposit, or 20,000 pounds, or 10,000, 15,000. Personally, as I speak as a nurse here who's working in the United Kingdom, I cannot afford to save 20,000 pounds per month for the mortgage for a house which is going to be suitable for me and my kids, so that when we are in the house, no one is hearing chiki chiki from next door and no one is hearing chiki chiki from the other side. It's not good. Imagine, my daughter is only 10 years old, and she has on many occasions, first of all, she started by asking me, why is it that people from next door here, they'll be screaming and stuff like that? How do I even answer such a thing? So it's because of how small the matchboxes that we live in here in the United Kingdom. At some point in time, I'll just show you how small the houses are, or what I mean by a terraced house, because some of us, maybe they've never seen terraced houses before. But where I come from in my country, where you find terraced houses, it's a they mostly refer to them as the poorest areas. That's why the houses are smashed together like that. But here in UK, it's actually normal to find houses which are terraced, and you can hear what your neighbor is doing. You can hear what your neighbor is doing, and it's not good. And it's not good for children to be sleeping with earphones on full blast, so that they actually don't hear what their neighbors are doing. I don't know, guys, what am I supposed to do? Because my mother actually advised me that you can go to your neighbors and ask them that, look, I've got kids, so when you are playing your game in the bedroom, can you keep it low? Is it possible for me to actually go and knock at the door and say that? What do you think I should do about that? So that is one of the reasons why people are saying, you know what, I cannot live in these matchbox houses. I'll rather go to Australia, where I'm going to get a big house, which is a standalone house. Here, you can't get a standalone house. You have to pay a fortune for you to be able to get a standalone house. This is the reality on the ground. You have to be very rich, because the standalone houses are for the very rich, right? So, and then it comes to work-life balance, because this is another thing that I was discussing with Troy's father, that okay, what about work-life balance? You are saying there is good work-life balance from the salary that you're getting. I was actually saying the salary that you are earning there, I understand you, that you are saying you are getting the same amount of money as I am getting here in Australia. But how many hours are you working in the UK compared to me who's in Australia? And the hours that are in UK, are they friendly hours if you are looking at them? Because you are basically going to work 12 hours per day, and you're getting the same amount of money that I am getting, but I only go to work. I work 8 hour shifts. It's like per day is subdivided into three, where you go, maybe I'll just give an example. Maybe you go from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, or from 1 o'clock to 11 o'clock, but you never work more than 8 hours, and then you still get the same salary that I'm getting here in the UK, which means as an individual, you are not going to be what suffering from burnout. So, because if I'm looking at myself, guys, let me tell you something about me. I work very hard. I work very, 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 very hard, because I'm a single parent, right? And me being a single parent, it's like I have to do most of the things by myself. So I always told myself that if I am going to work, I have to work double the time. You understand? And me working double the time, guys, what I realized is, when I took this time off to say, okay, let me spend time with my kids, I realized that I'm actually not spending time with my children, because I am constantly chasing shifts. I work 5 days a week at times. I work 6 days a week at times. I work up to 7 days a week at times, because it's very difficult to make ends meet here in the United Kingdom. And honestly speaking, if I don't push that extra mile, it's difficult to survive, because I survive on the extra money that I earn from extra shifts. And if I don't do those extra shifts, it's very, very difficult to survive. You can feel the punch. Like these 3 weeks, I've been literally seated. And when you talk of work-life balance, I've been literally seated at home. And I even told my mother that, I need to give my body time to recuperate, right? And then me being seated at home for those 3 weeks, because I work in a care home, it simply means that I am not going to be getting as much money as I would normally get if I'm working 5 days, as I would normally get when I'm working 6 days, which means the amount of money that I'm going to get is reduced. And if I'm looking at how much the amount of money that I'm getting is reduced, if I work ordinary shifts, guys, like if I work ordinary shifts, my salary for the month is reduced by £1,800. Do you understand me? And if you are looking at £1,800, it helps me to cover a lot of ground. You understand? It helps me to cover because the salary that I get without extra shifts, it basically covers, like it will cover my rent, it will cover my car, it will cover my fuel, it will cover until it's all finished. And when it's all finished, I have to move on to the extra money that I get on extra shifts, which means right now, because I've been seated at home, there's no extra shift or whatever. My salary, when it comes, me, I get paid on a weekly basis. It has been, by the end of the month, it will be £1,800 less than the money that I get on a monthly basis. Now, the thing that was worrying me the most is I was looking at the past 5 6 years that I've been in UK. How has it been like? Have I been spending quality time with my children? I'm looking at Troy. Troy recently turned 18 years. And when he turned 18 years, I was like, oh my God, this child is going to be out of my nest. And if this child is going to be out of my nest, have I been spending enough time with this child? Have I been listening to his problem? Because you see, if you are both the mother and the father, there are things that you have to start discussing with your children. I have to start discussing on the issues like if he's a boy, does he have a girlfriend? How does he younger the girls? What is he supposed to do and all that? And to be frank with you guys, I'll be frank because I don't want to lie. I realized that I've been lacking in that department. Why have I been lacking? It's because I've been chasing shifts, chasing shifts, chasing shifts. Because here in UK, if you do not chase shifts, you are not able to survive. But life is not supposed to be like that. We need to have that balance. So because there isn't that work-life balance, because if I am telling you that I am spending 5 days a week at work, it means if I'm working night shift, when I come in the morning, I'm taking Minnie to school, right? Troy goes to school. I don't see them during the day. You understand? When they come from school, I just go there to the kitchen, I cook, and when I've cooked, I go and sleep. You understand? I have to go and sleep because I'm coming from night shift. And when I go and sleep, when they come from school, they're not seeing me. They'll go and eat and whatever. I'm sleeping, right? And then when I wake up, I'll wake up at 6:30, 18:30 hours. And when I wake up at 18:30 hours, I'm preparing to go to work and I'm back to work again. So what time am I really spending with my children? So do you really see that work-life balance? And even if we hang out over the weekend, oh, let's go for a drive, oh, let's go for a meal, it is not enough. It's not enough. So you need to have that work-life balance where you can actually have time to spend with your children. Because if I'm not there all the time, I'm not there around the clock, I don't see them around the clock. And the painful bit is because it's only me who lives with them. They don't have that thing that, okay, if I'm not bonding with my mother right now, I'll go and bond with my father. Because I am looking at my brother. My brother is here in Scotland. And obviously, for them to balance for them, the other one will work day shift, the other one will work night shift. But if the other one is working at night, the father actually has time to bond with the children and all that. You understand? And he's dedicating time to the kids. You get to know your kids and everything. If the mother is at work, it's the same thing. The mother is bonding with the kids. But now, if I am one person, I cannot divide myself into two to say, now I need time to spend with the kids. Now I need time. It is very difficult for me. So which means it's jump, go to work, see you for 1 second. It's very tough, guys. So work-life balance is one of the reasons why people decide, you know what? We need to pack our bags and go to a country where we are going to be able to spend time with the kids. Because if I go to work in the morning and I'm back at 5 o'clock, which means between 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock, I have those 3 hours to spend with my kids. But if you're here in the UK, you go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, you knock off at 8 o'clock at night. And when you knock off at 8 o'clock at night, you have to drive home. Let's say you're a peripatetic nurse like me. As a peripatetic nurse, be rest assured, per given day, wherever I work, I have to drive 30 to 45 minutes. You spend that 1 hour on the road, which means you're getting home at 9 o'clock. And when you're getting home at 9 o'clock, your children are sleeping, right? When your children are sleeping, you are expected to go back to work in the morning. And when you're going back to work in the morning, you have to be up at 7 o'clock, right? Because work starts at 8, or you have to be up at 6:30. What are your children doing at 6:30? They are sleeping. You understand? Your children are sleeping at 6:30, and you have to what? Go to work without seeing your children. So at the end of the day, you do not have that quality life with your children. You do not know your children. As it is, I live with Troy. He's 18 years old. The honest truth is, in as much as I live with him, he's 18 years old, there is a lot that I don't know about him, because as a one person who is handling the household, I'm spending most of the time on the road, because if I don't spend most of the time on the road, ends are not going to meet. You understand? All my salary, the salary that I get, if I don't get extra shifts, all my salary is finished. So no extra shift, no survival. And the unfortunate thing which is now happening in the UK, which is also making people say, you know what, I need to pack my bags and go to New Zealand and go to America. There has been an influx of people coming to UK. You know that they've been complaining about the health and care worker visa. Not only are people coming through the health and care worker visa, people are also coming in as nurses, as doctors, as whatever, through the health and care worker visa. And you know that 750,000 people came to UK last year, right? Including care workers, including, all those people who came to UK. Having an influx of people in the UK, having an influx of people in Northern Ireland here, simply means that for you to get an agency shift has become a mammoth task, because there are so many people. Here in Northern Ireland, people are struggling. I worked with people who left because back in the days, everyone was rushing to get ILR. Once I get my ILR, I'll become an agency nurse. I'll be working full-time agency. There are people who left and went to work full-time agency. And after leaving to go and work full-time agency, it was not working for them, because they were not able to make ends meet, because now agency was only offering one shift per week, one shift per week. And honestly, if you work one shift per week and you are dependent on agency work, you will not be able to pay your bills at the end of the month. So because of the influx of people who have actually come to work in the United Kingdom here, there is no shifts, there is no money. And if there is no shifts, it means that because our salary is only enough to pay for the rent, it's only enough to. I don't know how people in England are surviving. How are you guys in England surviving? Because me here in Northern Ireland, I'm living in a 3-bedroom house. The rent is £695. But a similar house in England is going for £1,300 for a 3-bedroom house, right? Which is more than double the amount that I am paying here in Northern Ireland. So how are you guys surviving if you are, for example, maybe working and you're getting paid £2,000 per month, and you already pay 1,400 on a 3-bedroom house? You haven't paid council tax, because here we don't pay council tax. You haven't paid council tax. You haven't paid the water bills. Here we also don't pay water bills. You haven't paid the water bills. You haven't fueled your car. You haven't paid the tax for your car. You haven't bought your groceries. You haven't sent, because here when you come here to UK, we also have to take care of people who are overseas, right? Because where we come from, it's very difficult to make ends meet. You also haven't sent people back home money. How are you managing to survive in England? Because if you can't get a extra shifts with agency, because that's what we depend on, how are you surviving? So if you're looking at that, people are seeing that, okay, it's now very difficult to survive here in UK. And now that is very difficult to survive here in UK. Let us now what? Let us live and try the greener pastures. And not only that, guys, another thing is, if you are a migrant here in UK, it's very difficult to be a migrant here in UK, because the government constantly chops your money. Why am I saying the government chops your money? For you to renew your visa, let's say maybe you came through another skilled worker visa route, and you came in as a, what you call this, let me say maybe came in as an accountant. If you are renewing your visa for 3 years, you have to pay IHS maybe 1,150, let me say 1,200. If you are five of you, 1,200 for the five family members. You also have to pay visa fees for the five family members. So 1,200 times 5, right? Not only for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, times 5 for your five individuals. Then visa fees times 5. And when you have spent 5 years here in UK, what does UK want from you? They want you to pay for indefinite leave to remain. You don't get indefinite leave to remain for free. And how much is indefinite leave to remain per individual? Each individual is expected to pay 2.8. Let me just round it off and say you're expected to pay a round figure of £3,000. And I've already said there are no extra shifts because that's what we survive on. There are no extra shifts. A lot of people came to UK and all the vacancies were filled. There's nothing like an extra shift. It's difficult to get an extra shift. Then you are expected to pay £3,000 each for each individual for your five members. You are failing to raise £15,000 for mortgage, right? You are now expected to raise £15,000 to pay just to have indefinite leave to remain here in UK, right? If you pay that 50, if you manage to get the indefinite leave to remain, for you to become a UK citizen, you also need to pay a naturalization fee, which is about £1,500 or something for each and every individual. How much money is that, guys? Because it's not only that, in between here, you'd have been paying for your IHH, you'd have been paying for the renewal of visas. And when people they come and say, okay, guys, let's work for 3 years here in UK, because to fork out £15,000, if you're six is £20,000 or whatever. For us to be able to fork that money, it's going to be a challenge because we cannot fork £15,000. At the same time, it's difficult to raise a IHS fees because the money that we're getting is enough to cover the basics. If you are in UK, you know that I'm not lying. You need extra shifts for you to be able to live any kind of life other than to live any other life. Like you can't live a normal life using the amount of money that you get, like your basic pay without extra. You cannot survive in UK using your basic pay. You need extra shifts, and now extra shifts are hard to come by. Where are you going to get the money to apply for indefinite leave to remain? Where are you going to get the money to save for your mortgage? So that's why at the end of the day, people say, okay, guys, I've worked for 3 years. In the 2 years, in the first 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year that I'm here in UK, if you are a nurse, others are saying, you know what? Let me be preparing to go to New Zealand. Even if it's going to take me 2 years, I'm now here in UK. That's my stepping stone. I'm not going to pay 20,000 for indefinite leave to remain. I'll work, 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 work. Then after three years there, I would pack my family and we move to Australia. I'll pack my family. I'll come here because NCLEX is difficult to write when I'm overseas. I'll come here. I'll write my NCLEX, and as soon as I write my NCLEX, I'm picking my family and I'm going to America. And the beauty of these two countries that I've mentioned is that people might say, oh, you can't live here for 4 years and not get your indefinite leave to remain. People are moving to Australia with permanent residency. You understand, guys? They are moving, they are carrying permanent residency. They are going to USA. They don't have to spend 5 years here in UK. They have their green cards there. You move to Australia today, you've got permanent residency. You understand? So that is one of the reasons why I've been snooping in so many WhatsApp groups. People are preparing to go to New Zealand. There's a WhatsApp group for New Zealand in Australia. There's a WhatsApp group for America. There's people want to leave, because if you don't do that, if they don't do that, they are failing to survive. You cannot survive here in the UK. Then another thing, the issue of this horrible weather that we have. I'm sure you can hear today that I've got flu. It's because the weather here in UK is terrible. The weather is fucked up, I'm sorry to say. Because per given day, just one day, you can have five weather. There's no summer. The summer is short-lived. Yesterday, like you make plans and say we are in summer. Oh, next weekend, guys, we're going to be going away because the sun. Yesterday, we were all freezing. We were wearing our summer clothes. We went out with my friends and our kids to say, okay, let's go and chill out outdoors. We were freezing because there was no sun out. It was lashing. It was raining, and because summer is short-lived, it's only June, July, August, and it doesn't, summer is supposed to know, when you say summer is not summering, you have just a drop of sun, and before you know it, you wear, like I'm wearing something like this, you go out. I can't go outside. I can't trust myself to go outside wearing anything like this, because once I go, the other day I went out with my kids for a walk at night because it was summering, right? But when I came back, the weather was cold. That's why I've got flu, because the weather was not summering. You think it's summering, but it's not summering because it's so cold. So that's why people end up leaving to say, you know what? Let me go and boil in UAE. There where temperatures are 40 degrees. Remember, sometimes cold weather, not sometimes, it has been proven that the cold weather that we have here in UK causes depression. Bad weather causes depression, guys. It's always cold. You're always indoors. You wearing your jacket. You look out, the weather is gloomy. Because if you look out and it's all sunny, you also get excited, right? But at times you just look outside. Most of the time, you look outside, it's cold, it's raining, it's snowing, it's freezing. Who wants a life like that? That's why people tell themselves, who wants a life like that? Okay, I cannot be miserable. Cold weather can make you so miserable. What makes it even worse is that energy prices have skyrocketed. And because energy prices have skyrocketed, it's now difficult for us to say, okay, I'm going to heat my house. You can, even if the temperature is -6 degrees, you cannot afford, if you're here in UK, you cannot afford to heat the house all day long. You cannot afford. That one will be a green lie, which means you're going to get the prices have tripled in price. You're going to get the gas, or you're going to get the oil, whatever amount of oil that you're going to get. And you just be 1 hour, then you switch off the heating. Most of the time you're freezing because you're trying to save. There are no extra shifts. The salary is not enough. It only covers the basics. If I let my oil run the whole day, energy for, because if you're looking at oil, I normally go and put 450 pounds for oil to last me just 3 months. And for those 3 months, I won't be like running it the whole time. I'm only running it 2 hours in the morning, and I'm running it 2 hours at night. So people are thinking, wow, are we going to be living like this? Things are so expensive. We can't even afford to heat the house 24/7. But do you think if I go to Australia, I'll need to be heating the house like this? Or most of the year it's warm through and through. And because it's warm through and through, I won't be spending this much money on paying the electricity, the oil and the gas and so forth. You see, and you can't use electricity for your heater. I tried it, £20 gone in 2 days because I used an electric heater. I ran out of oil because I wasn't checking my oil. I ran out of oil and I was like, okay, let me use heaters. Put the heater upstairs. Like I always have. I have got spare heaters, like 4 heaters, one for the lounge and for the 3 bedrooms for me, my son, and my daughter. I just ran those for 2 days. £20 was finished in 2 days because I had not checked my oil. My oil was finished, and when I purchased oil, and if you're using oil, it's unlike if you're using gas, where you're going to say, I'm going to pay £5, 10, £15, and they give me. If you're using oil, you have to have at least £100 for you to be able to fill in something. They don't sell anything under £100. That is in Northern Ireland. I don't know about England, but here you have to have £100. And at times you won't be having that £100. Just like this period, this time period where I've decided that, you know what, let me listen to my body, let me rest. It means I'm not having extra shifts, right? And the money is just enough to cover the basics. And once you finish that money and oil decides to finish and it's cold, and I don't have that £100, what am I going to do? You get it, guys? Because you don't have that extra cash, you don't have that extra disposable cash. So this is I don't scare people. If you're in UK, you know that this is the reality on the ground. And if you're in UK, you know that people are deciding to what? To pack their bags and leave because of that. Now that I've spoken too much, let me take a break and see what people have actually said before I continue. But otherwise, I think I've covered most of the ground. The last one that I'll talk about, let me just go through your messages, because messages have been flying in, just to see what you are actually saying about what I am saying. All the messages are so many. England is double. Someone says, Pauline, we are not surviving in England. It's true. Because I asked myself that if Northern Ireland is like this, and you are like, your salary is enough to say to the dot, it's enough to cover my expenses to the dot. Sometimes even it's even more, like sometimes the expenses, if you count them, they're even more. The other day I was counting my expenses with my father, and I was telling him that, you know what, I'm not taking extra shifts. Let's just count how much my expenses are, and then and compare with my salary. My expenses were actually more than the salary, the basic salary that I get, because some of us, we get basic. If you're a carer, you get basic salary, which is 1,500, and from that 1,500 basic salary, you're expected to pay 1,400 rent. Can you survive? Mhm. The problem with Australia, they don't want those who are over 45 years old. It's true, that's what the problem is. They don't want people who are over 45 years. If you are an individual, if you are dreaming of relocating to Australia, be mindful of that they don't take people who are above 45 years. And if you are serious about going to Australia, you better start preparing before you reach that age. I am 39 years old. Me, I don't hide my age. I don't care, because that's my age. I'm turning 40 years. Should I wish to leave and go to Australia, I'll have to start acting now. You understand? I have to start acting now before I get old, because at 45 years old, they will not be taking me. So if you're here in UK and you've been contemplating going to Australia, if others are doing it, guys, so can you do it? If you're contemplating on going to Australia, make sure that you start preparing before you hit 45 years, because what I've noted is that time actually flies. You don't realize it. One thing, I cannot even believe that I've been here 6 years. To me, it still feels like I came here yesterday. But because time flies, time really flies. And I'm not even ashamed to say, no, I always tell my father that, I've been here 6 years, but what is it that I really have that I can show off and say, oh, I've got this, oh, I've got this, oh, I've got this? I don't have anything. Like, I don't have anything. Like, I don't have anything. I don't have anything, guys. But if I look at my friends, because I've got friends who are here with me first year, and they left for America second year, they have got houses back home there. They finished building mansions back home there. After finishing one mansion, they built another mansion back home there. But I cannot afford to, from the salary that I'm getting, I cannot afford to be building mansions back home, because I'm not getting any extra money, which is permitting me to build mansions like my colleagues who left and went to America. So that's what people are looking at, that I'm failing to survive here in UK. I've been here many years and I've got nothing to show for it. I was back in Zimbabwe there. I was watching people and say, the fuck, you've been in UK for 20 years and you still don't have a house. The fuck were you doing for all those years? You understand? Then you realize that for all those years, it will be a vicious cycle. And I'm seeing myself that now I'm in that vicious cycle where you are just going to work, you're paying your bills, you're not making ends meet. There is no extra money to save and all that. And before you know it, you would have spent 20 years here in UK. And in those 20 years, you've got absolutely nothing to show for it. Remember, there were individuals who were actually arrested and were sent back to my country, like back to my country. And when they got there, they came with their towels and they had absolutely nothing. And then they said, "You've been in UK for 20 years." And let me tell you something, guys. They'll say you've been in UK for 20 years, you don't even have a house. You know, the very people like extended relatives, blah blah blah, the very people that you've been supporting all these years, sacrificing, giving them your money, everything, and you living scentless, remaining behind with nothing because you are paying your sister's fees to go to university, you're paying your brother's fees to go to university, you are funding them, you are those people. When you go back after 20 years, they are the very people who are going to be saying to you, "Hey, he's been in UK for 20 years and he's got nothing to show for it." And when you go there, when you look at, I'm not saying it's for everyone, when you look at what they have achieved, they would have achieved better things than you who is here in the UK, because sometimes you end up becoming people's cash cow, constantly milking you, milking you, milking you. You are remaining with no cent. And then when you look at 20 years later, they've been milking you, they've been saving their money, they've been building their houses. And when you go back there, you've got nothing. You don't even have a house because you've been remaining without a cent each and every month. And the very individuals that you've been supporting, your nieces and your nephews and your aunts and your uncles, and they will not even support you when you've gone back to your country with nothing. And they'll be saying, "Hey, he has been in UK for 20 years and has got absolutely nothing to show for it." Then Vicky says my one bedroom costs £700. Imagine one bedroom, £700, and I'm paying 695 for a 3-bedroom house. So if one bedroom in England is costing £700, how much is 2 bedrooms? How much is 3 bedrooms? And in that 1 bedroom, can you really live with your family in 1 bedroom? Things are tough. Then, so Vicky has given us a breakdown. She says my 1 bedroom is £700. Council is 150. Water is 100. Gas is 200. That's just house bills. So this is just 1%. Let's say you relocated to come and work in the UK and you are working as a care assistant. You haven't brought in your family, because when you bring in your family, you're going to be paying 1,300 for the 3-bedroom house. 7, 8, 9, 10, 1,100. Right. You're paying 1,100, or let me say 1,200, just to live in a 1-bedroom house. And here, this is house bills. The individual didn't include the car, like driving the car, you have to fuel the car. They didn't include the groceries. They didn't include the road tax. They didn't include all these other things that we have to, all these other bills that we have to pay for. Are you going to be able to survive? Ask yourself that question. Are you surviving? Are you really surviving? Or you are just going through the motions like what everyone else is doing? Then 20 years down the line, when you check, because I've already started reflecting. I'm one individual who is not afraid to say, me, I like being honest. I've already started reflecting. The past 6 years that I've been here, how much ground have I covered? And I compare myself with people who came here. You remember I came and showed you a video that, oh, this is Richard. He relocated to America. We're starting CPT together. He is earning 15,000 USD per month, blah, blah, blah. If I look at where he is today and I look at where I am today, I am far, 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 far behind there. Very, very far. Guys, very, very far. Because I've been chasing shifts, I've been living hand to mouth, it's tough. That's why people are what? Living. But I have not yet decided that I am leaving. I'm actually sharing with you the reasons why people are leaving the United Kingdom. Um, Queen says, I haven't worked in 4 weeks. I'm an agency nurse and a single mom. My son has autism. I do agency for flexibility. Can't do permanent as I work. My son's. I work. Around my son's needs. I do not know how I will pay my bills. See, guys, this is exactly what I was saying. She is an agency nurse, and in the past 4 weeks, 4 weeks, because of the influx of people who have come to UK, in the past 4 weeks, she has not gotten a single agency shift. Tell me if you're an agency nurse, because she has to work around her son who has got autism, right? If you are working, how is she going to pay her bills? Because if you are an agency nurse, you are paid as you work. You are paid as you work. Now, what I was just saying earlier on, she has not gotten a shift the whole month. How is she going to pay her bills? Even if you've got savings, it's now even difficult to have savings. That's the reality on the ground. Because, like I said, the money that you get is enough to get you by. She has not worked the whole month because there are no agency shifts. She doesn't know how she's going to pay her bills. This is the reality on the ground here in the United Kingdom. That's why people are choosing to leave, because all these things that people used to get excited about, that once I get my indefinite leave to remain, I'll leave my permanent job and do agency. Now you leave your permanent job. She has said to us, she has not gotten a shift, one shift in 4 weeks. So people end up asking themselves, should I really be in a rush to pay for my indefinite leave to remain? Pay £15,000 for me and my family members, then at the end of the day, fail to even get agency work because people were saying with agency work you can make a lot of money, you are working limitless, you can work agency work every day, Monday to Friday, blah blah blah. When I first came here to UK, that's what people were doing. They were working agency work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I constantly got emails because I put my CV or CV left. I constantly got emails. Oh, we've got agency here, agency here, agency here. Now, I don't get any emails talking about agency. I only get emails talking about, oh, there's a vacancy. There are no agency shifts. So this thing that people used to rush for indefinite leave to remain to do agency work, it's no longer benefiting them, because once you move to agency, there are no shifts. And if you depend on your agency shifts to pay your bills, you can't pay your bills. Harsh reality on the ground. Um, 3,000, Tara says, it's so sad for the kids to hear those noises. But you are hearing, sis, raising children as one parent is by God's grace. You are strong, Popo. My dear, what I can tell you is that it has been God through and through. I'm sure you've seen me posting videos comparing when my kids first came, when they were this small, and now they are that big. It has not been easy. It has been a mammoth task. There's this thing that let's say, oh, you've got a child's father, blah blah blah. Even if you are sending me money to say, okay, I'm going to send you £200 and so forth, there's a difference between being present and giving money. Because if you are looking at me, it's not only about finances when it comes to kids. Emotionally, psychologically, physically, you see me, I'm home here for the past 3 weeks, right? My daughter was off sick for 2 weeks. Understand? My daughter was also sick for 2 weeks. By the way, guys, if you are an African like me, you are here in UK, take your vitamins. Take your vitamins, your vitamin D. All of us had vitamin D deficiency, like we had no, like total vitamin D deficiency. And if you've got vitamin D deficiency, in addition to all these other conditions that I was suffering from, now I'm suffering from fatigue, my bones were complaining, my joints were complaining, dizziness, same thing, my daughter was complaining. No, because you're saying, make sure that you take high doses. We're taking but the vitamins that we were taking, they're not enough. All of us had deficiencies, all of us, despite taking the vitamins. So make sure that if you're here and you're coming from that side, because of this weather that I've already mentioned earlier on, we don't get enough of the sun, because the sun is important for the production of vitamin D. So you don't get enough sun. So make sure that you get your vitamins. You go and look for your cod liver, what cod liver, and I now have vitamin D, cod liver oil, and all these other things. I think I'll just do a separate video on that and just show you the vitamins that I actually have, which are now helping us, because all of us were sick. My daughter couldn't, she would stand up and fall, dizziness, whatever, joint pains, vitamin D deficiency. And we thought we were taking our vitamins. So, guys, take your vitamins. Back to the point. When the child is sick, you're a single parent. Can you go to work and leave your child sick at home? For Troy to take care of her, because now Troy is 18 years old. I don't need a child minder. He can be the child. Can I really leave Troy to take care of Minnie? I can't. Which means as a single mother, there are times when I am forced to go off work so that I take care of my children. And as a single mother, there isn't that thing that, so my son will just come today, like he just came to me yesterday. It's like, oh, because we finished school, there's going to be a dinner, what. I need a jean, I need a shoes, I need a any time of the month. So which means as a mother, you have to, even if you run out of things, there are times when I'm here in the UK, because we just don't come and share our problems. You have run out of gas because you're not checking. Because as an individual, I become so busy. I have to be checking my gas. I milk. If you see me working, guys, I milk all the drilling, all the what. I do everything by myself. I milk the pipes for the oil and everything. If oil runs out, you can call the other person and say, I've run out of oil. Can I have money? If they tell that I don't have money, that's it. You as the individual, you are the one who's not supposed to run around and say, okay, you don't have money, where am I going to get the money and so forth. There's a lot which it's not easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It's very, very challenging. It's very, very, very difficult. And it's taxing, because I have to force myself. If it were by me, guys, to be honest with you, if it were by me, I would work 3 days per week, because that is what a normal body can tolerate. But because I am single, and I know that at any point in time a child can come and say, I need this. Any point in time a child can be sick and they need medication, and they need all those things, they need attention, they need special food, they need whatever. I have to go and work 2 more, 3 more shifts, even if I'm tired, because I have to make ends meet. You understand? Yeah, Papa, why are you working like that? I'm working like that because if you are single, you're not balancing. Because if I wasn't single, right? If I wasn't single, I would bring, whether I'm bringing 3K at home, and my other partner is bringing 3K at home, we can work together with 6K. We can manage, understand? But if I'm single right now and I get sick and not go to work, like I've been sick, like I've not been well from February. Even if I come and talk to you guys, what, I make myself strong, because I have to be strong for my kids, understand? So that they don't see, even if I'm going through stresses, it has been by the grace of God that I managed to raise these kids behind me. It has been by the grace of God, guys. It's not easy. It's difficult. So if you are a single parent home with this UK economy, without things are turning out, it's very, 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 very tough. I have people who come and say to me, oh, you've been in UK so many years. Guys, don't compare yourself with other people. That's the most important thing if you're here. Never ever compare yourself, because your circumstances and my circumstances are different. We might be nurses, the two of us, but the salary that I'll get is different from yours. My responsibilities and your responsibilities are different. So do not have that pressure from people. Oh, you've been here. How come you don't have a house? This one was here 1 year, they took a mortgage. Their circumstances and your circumstances are different. So if you want to survive wherever, don't compare yourself to other people. Don't compare yourself to John. Don't compare yourself to Susan. You are not John. You are not Susan. Susan's circumstances and your circumstances are different. Even if you are working as nurses. Even if I came here today, I'm by myself. You came with your husband. The two of you are getting £6,000 per month, or they're getting £4,000 per month. I'm getting half of that, and I have to run everything by myself, whilst you are helping each other, and so forth and so on. Understand, guys? So now I've given you, I think, 5 reasons why people are leaving the UK. Now I'm going to go through the comments, because there are a lot of comments, just so that you hear it yourself from the people who are actually here in UK, who are actually commenting that they're here in the UK, and this is what is happening, and this is why they are leaving to go for other pastures. Colin Mashango says UK is difficult for single married people. That's my observation. So he's saying whether you're single or you're married, the UK is difficult for everyone. You understand? It's very difficult for me to speak for married people, because I don't know how their life is like. But me, as a single person, speaking for myself, UK has become tough. It has really become tough. You really have to pull up your pants to be able to survive here in UK. And pulling up your pants is now even more difficult with these shifts who are all gone. Mm. Uh, Faraz Juma says, you just make people scared. Life in the UK is not as hard as you say. Well, you've just saying life in the UK is not hard for you, my darling, but you are not everyone. That is the thing. You are not everyone. People are coming here, they are commenting, they are saying that they are failing to get shifts. People are commenting that they are paying a lot of money. Yes, life is not difficult for you. If life is not difficult for you, it does not mean that it's not difficult for me. It does not mean that it's not difficult for Susan. It does not mean that it's not difficult for the 500,000 people who relocated from UK last year to overseas. Because, like I've already said, Feruzi Juma, your circumstances, my circumstances, Patricia's circumstances, they are different from yours. So speak for yourself, but I'll speak for the majority, because when I come and do my videos, I would have done my research first. That's why I'm carrying a book with information written down, because I would have gone and done my research. I just don't round my mouth without doing research. Vicky said, Feroz Juma, we are in the UK. Life is bloody hard. Please don't spread nonsense. Life is hard here, and she's telling the truth. Period. And Moklatsi says she's honest. May I don't sugarcoat things, guys. I say things as they are. That's the reality on the ground. From the time that I started this channel, from day one, I've always told you that I keep things real. I don't sugarcoat. I don't lie, because I don't benefit anything from lying. Mine says, I totally empathize with single parents, Pauline. Don't worry. The sacrifices you are making will definitely pay off. Your children appreciate the sacrifice. I can testify to that. Amen. Um, Tarot, you are right. Life is in the UK can be hard. Most people want to hear sugar-coated advice instead of the truth as it is. I've just said that. That's the thing, because most of the time, me, when I come, guys, before you, I tell you the reality on the ground, so that whenever you are making a decision, you make an informed decision. In addition to that, you also go and what and do your own research. There are a lot of people who actually migrated from England to Northern Ireland. Why? Because I came here and said, guys, before I moved to UK, I checked all the 4 areas. Northern Ireland is cheap. Move to Northern Ireland because it's cheap. Move to Northern Ireland because rent is cheap. Hundreds of people, through the videos that I come and share here, relocated from England to Northern Ireland, and they were surprised at how cheap things are. People relocated from Scotland to Northern Ireland, and they're surprised at how cheap things are. Because when I come and share information with you, it's for you to make your informed decisions. On top of that, you also go and do your own research. In addition to what, is she really telling the truth? Because this one for millionaires, I'm actually going to leave the link in the description box so that you check it out yourself. Is it true that millionaires are living in the UK? Yes, that's the reality on the ground. because things have not been moving so well. So we don't know what is going to happen after the elections. Maybe things are going to change after the elections, but for now, this is exactly what is happening. We are hoping that whosoever comes into power in July, things are going to turn around. We always remain hopeful, right? But this is what is happening at the present moment. Let us not lie to each other. Mm. Someone saying, Juma, why do you think severe depression is so rampant in UK? Depression is rampant in UK. And the thing is, some of us guys, when it comes to depression, because it is not a thing, when it comes to our people, like especially our African people, I know that I've got people from all over, right? I'm watched by people from more than 60 countries to be precise, but I'll address specifically people who come from African countries. There is this thing that as a man you don't talk, as a woman you don't talk. If you're depressed, you just keep quiet. You hear people falling and just they're gone. Guys, depression, mental health issues are real. Do not keep them to yourselves. If you've got an issue, pick up a phone, talk to someone. Understand? Pick up a phone, talk to someone. Even if it means, I know a lot of people that I came with from Africa that have actually advised, you know what? I do one-on-one counseling sessions because I'm a qualified counselor. Like I'm a qualified counselor. When I came here as a qualified counselor, there are people that I do one-on-one sessions with, counseling sessions. Then I say to them, you know what, this problem, I think you need a therapist. Book a therapist. There are people who have actually booked a therapist and they are being seen by the therapist because of the amount of depression here in UK. Sometimes even being broke can make you so depressed. Failing to make ends meet can make you so depressed. Being alone in this foreign land can make you so depressed. So do not be afraid to speak out, because culturally, culture does not allow us. In our culture, there's nothing like depression. In our culture, there's nothing like mental health issues. Mental health issues are real in UK. Depression is real in UK. And if it means look for help, go ahead and look for help, because the more you become depressed, you know what the end result is going to be like. You understand, guys? So if you have mental health issues, don't keep quiet. Pick up a phone, talk to someone. Send me an email, because I receive a lot of emails. Popo, I need help with this, blah, blah, blah. Send me an email, talk to me, have someone to talk to. Don't keep it to yourself. Understand? We need to learn to save money for ILR. Life is far much better than home. Life is good here, and I thank God for this opportunity here. I will not dispute that, because you always know that when I come here and I say, look at the life that you have back home and look at the life that you have here. Kungcono. I'll say that in my language. Kungcono is like, it is better, because in as much as it's hard here in UK. We will not deny that it's hard. It's hard here in UK, but it can never compare to other countries. That being said, a lot of people, it's very difficult if you are back in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, if you are not able to make ends meet. But there are people who are making it out there in Zimbabwe, out there in Nigeria, in Ghana, and so forth. It's difficult if you don't have maybe a business or something like that. There are people who are making it better than us here in the UK. I think I did tell you at some point in time that I do have my ex there in UK who's actually a millionaire in Zimbabwe. Millionaire. I was like, oh, Papa, can you please check for me how much a Porsche Panamera is here in UK? I want to buy one and see if I can ship it to Harare. I go and check, it's 95,000 pounds. Oh, it's cheap. Understand? Because people have got money. Yes, right? In as much as people have got money, there are people without money. There are people who have absolutely nothing. They cannot even buy a loaf of bread. They cannot even. So, in as much as things are difficult, I always tell you that you always have to practice gratitude, because things are difficult, but we are here in UK and we are earning them pounds. You are getting your 2,000 pounds per month. You are getting your whatever pounds, your 1,500 pounds per month. Someone is getting $50 for the same amount that you're getting. But we need to know how we can survive better here in UK, because we don't want to be living from head to mouth. You understand? We are getting food, we've got food in our fridges, we are driving cars, but we don't want to be living hand to mouth. And we don't want to be crying that oh, where am I going to get the money for mortgage? Where am I going to? We need to be able to, not cry about, they're chopping our money via tax. We cannot have save for mortgage and stuff like that. You understand? So I agree with you. I will not dispute that one. Mm. The problem with people is that, this is Tario, the problem with people is that they don't want to hear bedside of living abroad. They only need to hear positive news. What Popo is saying, she doesn't sugarcoat. That's the truth. There is no point, because I've had people who come here in UK and say, but you never told me that it was like this. Oh, you never told me that. Because sometimes you say, oh, the salary is going to be £45,000 per annum. From that £45,000, you're going to be taxed. You won't even get the 10,000. You never told me that I'm going to be taxed so much. You never. May I tell you the truth? So that even when you come here, when you're here, you're not surprised, because you already know that you're going to be taxed heavily. You're going to be paying high. You're going to pay a lot of rent in England and so forth. And it helps you to even make decisions that, okay, if I want to go to UK, should I really choose England? Should I really choose London? Or should I really look for NHS jobs in Scotland? Or look for HSC jobs in Northern Ireland? You have to make all those decisions before you what? You move overseas. I made that decision before moving to overseas to say, okay, should I really go to England? Should I really go to? And this is the whole reason why I had to start this YouTube channel, to help people with information, because it's not everyone with information. I had to research and so forth and realize that people lack that information. And we just come here and share the information with you, and you make your own informed decisions. Guys, I think I have spoken a lot. You know me, once I start talking, I don't stop. I'm going to check one or two more, three or four or five more um questions. There are no questions, people are commenting, and then I'll round off my live. Otherwise, guys, do me a favor, smash the like button for this live video, and do share it with people who are within the UK and who are overseas, so that they've got a rough idea on why people are packing their bags and leaving the United Kingdom. That being said, I've not made up my mind on whether I'm leaving the UK or not. For now, I am here in the United Kingdom, and I'm totally grateful for whatever. Because me, I'll tell you something, guys, about me. I don't complain about my life. Very rarely will you hear me coming to you here on social media and complaining that I am broke, and complaining that I am, because I personally always practice gratitude. I always say, when I'm about to complain and say, oh, it's difficult to be a single mother, I say, remember that some people don't have children, and you have to be grateful for the fact that at least you have children. There are people who've been praying 10 years on end, they don't have children, and they've been, I practice gratitude. They say, oh, things are difficult. I'm not able to, buy a whatever. I have a roof over my shoulder, and that, my God, because me, I believe in God. I'm thankful for that. I can drive to work. I've got a car. I can put food on the table. I can talk to you here on YouTube when someone else is not able to talk. They don't have a voice. All those things, I practice gratitude. So it becomes difficult for me to complain about my life. But it doesn't mean that my life is perfect. My life can be far from perfect, but I always practice what? Gratitude. I am very grateful for everything, every little cent that I get here in UK. I say thank you, Lord, for every little cent that I get here in UK. You see, so that's why I am still here in UK, because I am still very much grateful for whatever I'm getting. Doesn't mean that it is all rosy. I don't share most of my whatever problems that I go through. I don't share most of my problems on social media. I can only come and share fun things and all that, but my personal problems, I don't like sharing them, because I practice gratitude and I'm thankful for every little thing that I have. Even being a single parent, I don't complain much. Even if I know there are challenges and so forth, I don't complain much, because I've been able to survive all those years. By the grace of God, I've been able to survive. All right. So at school, please don't come to UK. Oh, now, now there's a war going on in the comment section. So I'll just read one last thing then around my life. Vicky says, my daughter is back in South Africa and I can't bring her to UK yet. I am struggling to be stable. I'm struggling to get a new sponsorship in the UK, and my family uses me as a cash cow. I didn't say it. She said it. She wrote it there. She says she is struggling in the UK. I'll just tell you something, guys. This is very important. Do not pour from an empty cup. You understand? Do not pour from an empty cup. I once did a video long time ago where I was talking about pouring from an empty cup. Sometimes you come here to UK, you are here in the UK, and suddenly, I remember in that video I said suddenly everyone from the rural areas there, to your uncle there, to your great grandmother there, they need BP medicine, they need water, they will milk you of your hard-earned cash. There is a lady who had come from Namibia who was in a similar situation like what Vicky is saying. She ended up leaving her job. I remember I was having a counseling session with her, trying to encourage her that no, why don't you have a spine? You have to learn to say no at times and tell them that, guys, I'm struggling to make ends meet. Because at times, if you're struggling to make ends meet, they actually create stories. And if you go to Namibia there, or you go to South Africa there, or you go to Zimbabwe there, they are having a good life, better than you. But every week they are sending you messages. They need 20 pounds, they need 50 pounds, they need 60 pounds, they need what? They are having a good life. So look at your cup as well. When your cup is empty, what are you pouring? What are you pouring? Because people, they know that the cup is absolutely empty. I don't have a cup near me. They know that the cup is empty, but they are pouring to other people. They are feeding other people. They are sending all their hard-earned cash and they remain with nothing. They are sacrificing a lot. I know a lot of people are sacrificing for people who are back home there, sacrificing, and they forget to live. This girl who was a nurse in the NHS and eventually left and went back to Namibia, she was telling me that, Popo, ever since I came here to UK, I've not taken myself out. I've not bought myself any clothes. I only have one pair of jeans, and now they're getting torn because I constantly wear one pair of jeans. I can't leave because this one is sick, that one is sick. But everyone, you suddenly become, I'll just call it a cash cow because they milk you. They think you now, because the perception that people have, I know I've clashed with a lot of people for exposing what life is like in the UK, exposing the necessary salaries and so forth. They class and said, oh, what are you portraying to people who are overseas? The people, they want to put this facade because they're in UK. They want to pretend that, oh, we are having a good life. Or even if you ask me for cash, I cannot say I don't have money because I'm in the UK. My darling, if you don't have money, your cup is empty. Tell them, I don't have money. Don't send everyone money and you remain with nothing and you fail to even live. You can't even take care of yourself. You are supposed to take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself first before you extend and take care of your niece and your uncle and your brother and your sister and your what. You understand, guys? Strike a balance. Don't allow people to use you as a cash cow, because I know exactly what she said, because I spoken to a lot of people, guys. I speak to a lot of people in a similar situation like her. And the thing is, if you tell them you don't have money, they give you attitude. I don't know if they've noted that. You tell them you don't have money, they give you an attitude. They don't talk to you anymore because you said you don't have money. Me, if you choose not to talk to me anymore because I said I don't have money, I don't fucking care, because it's very difficult to get money here in UK. It means you're not genuine, you're not a genuine relative, you're not a genuine aunt. If you are a genuine aunt, you have to understand when I'm saying it's difficult for me to make ends meet. Don't say just because you're in UK, send me money, send me money, send me money. No, learn to say no. Don't pour from an empty cup. Simple and straightforward. Esther Spanda, she's also turning 40 in August. We need to celebrate our birthdays. So, guys, in short, this is what I wanted to share with you. There are so many messages. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go through all of them because I once I start talking, I've got that problem. I don't stop. I can talk until tomorrow. So now I have to round off this live. Do share it with people who are in UK because it will benefit them as well, so that it gives them a clearer picture of what is happening in UK, and it also comforts you to know that I thought I was the only one in this situation. No, I'm not the only one in this situation. Then we also have to think of how are we going to survive? What steps are we supposed to take now for us to be able to survive here in UK? Because we want houses, we want this and that and all that. How are we going to survive? We need to come with solutions to the problems that we are currently facing here in the UK, guys. And thank you so much, guys, for joining me in this live. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel. Turn on the notification bell so that you never miss any of my videos. And if I've scared you, my apologies. I was just simply telling you the reality on the ground here in the United Kingdom. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye. I'll read all your comments after I round off this live, guys, and respond to those who need responses.